Again, my name's Michael Shalona. I'm with Denver Parks and Recreation, and welcome to the Sloan's Lake Boathouse Improvement Project virtual public meeting number 2. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the presentation, and we'll do some team introductions here in just a moment. And then we'll also be able to post questions as the presentation is going, and at the end we'll have a question and answer section. And so we'll try to address any questions that come up that you put in the chat. And we'll also have Spanish translation, and we'll be able to work through that here and get that instructions to everybody in just a moment. Could we go to slide 2?
Welcome.
So, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, GC.
Welcome. Helpful information. To enable translation, please click the globe icon on a computer button of the Zoom screen. On a phone or tablet, top right corner, select Spanish for the list. Optional but recommended to silence the English audio, turn on mute, original audio, right under the language list. Bienvenidos. Hay una información útil. Por favor, ¿cómo activar la traducción? Haz clic en el icono del globo. Si estás en una computadora, en la parte inferior de la pantalla de Zoom, lo encontrarás. Disculpen, por favor. En un teléfono o tableta, en la esquina superior derecha, selecciona español de la lista y es opcional, pero recomendado para silenciar el audio. En inglés, activa silenciar audio original, justo debajo de la lista de idiomas. Muchas gracias. Por favor, háganlo ahora si estás en español para ver si está funcionando.
Next slide, please. So thank you again for everybody who has joined. We want to thank Council President Amanda Sandoval's office for all their support through this project and this meeting, and being in attendance tonight. We're going to go through and introduce the team. I'll start off. Again, my name is Michael Shalona. I'm with Denver Parks and Recreation. I'm the Facilities Program Manager and Project Manager on the project. Next, we'll just go down the line here. You guys, team can join.
Yeah, hi, my name is Brandon Hilton. I am the Dottie project manager. I'll be kind of leading the design team and the construction team once we kind of get in construction for the project. Wells.
Thank you, Brandon. My name is Wells Squire. I'm a principal at Anderson Hallis Architects. We'll be supporting this project. I'll be overseeing all aspects, ensuring quality control and that the vision is achieved. And I'll be working closely with our project manager, Chelsea.
Good evening. I'm Chelsea Rooney. Like Wells mentioned, I'm the project manager here at Anderson Hallis, helping to move this project forward. And Celia.
Hello, good evening. My name is Celia Herrera. I am the community engagement specialist and a consultant here with Anderson Hallis Architects. Thank you.
So I'll just go do a quick project overview. Again, the purpose of the project is to renovate the historic Sloan's Lake Boathouse. It's approximately 6,000 square feet, and it is located on the north side of the lake. You can see in the aerial image in the lower right-hand corner by the parking lot. And it currently operates with some ranger offices and our Northwest maintenance team. And we are in the process of actually renovating the gun club building on the other side of the lake for the Northwest Maintenance District to move over there and have a larger facility and be near their supply fields and material storage and parking lots. And that offers the opportunity to see the vision through that came through on the 2021 Denver Rise bond project, and to create a community events and public programming space here at the Boathouse. And so this is the beginning of the project, and we're looking at the vision of what that could look like. We've had a meeting previously that will review more in depthly the comments and input we received. We also had an in-person meeting at the site so that people could visualize the space, look inside the building, and get a better idea of what that looks like. Next slide, please.
Michael,
So
I apologize. I'm gonna just stop the presentation really quick to make sure that our interpretation is working correctly. So
okay, sounds good.
I do apologize for.
Thank you, Jesus. I don't think I am in the right spot like I was last time. So every
GC, if you want to mute yourself and anyone who's on the Spanish channel can hear you, GC. So I will start sharing the screen again and hand it back to Michael. If you are on the Spanish channel, you will start hearing Spanish interpretation now. Thank you very much.
Do I need to back up on anything, or should we keep going forward, Jesus?
Yeah, if we just want to proceed, Michael.
Okay. This slide is just a quick overview of the project schedule. We're now entering the fall. We've gone through some project planning in the spring of 2025, early this year, and we did have the public meeting #1 during the summer in August, and had an online survey. And thank you for everybody who's participated in that. We'll have another survey that will coincide with this presentation that people will be able to take a closer look at the concepts that we're going to be presenting tonight and be able to vote on those concepts. And so we're at this public meeting #2. We're also going to be doing a pop-up tent event. We'll be at Jamming on the Jetties this Saturday, and we'll have boards printed out that if you want to come out to the event, feel free, come take a look at it, at the boards and the concepts at a larger printed version. You can also ask questions. I'll be out there along with some of the design team, and we'll be happy to share as much information as we have and to be able to talk through those concepts. Once we receive input on the online survey and from this meeting and Jamming on the Jetties, we'll be developing an additional preferred design concept, and we'll be able to talk about that a little bit further. I think construction planning that'll occur after we go through the full design, which will take us into 2026, into the summer. And we will have a third meeting as we develop the concepts. So we'll be able to come back and again show everybody, this is what we've heard, this is what you've asked for, and this is where that preferred concept would be. And that'll be in early 2026, so that keep an eye out for those meeting invites over the next couple months. And then we'll move into construction planning and finishing drawings, and then winter of 2026 be able to begin construction, and that will continue through 2027 with a late 2027, early 2028 opening of the event space. Next slide. So I'm going to hand this over to Celia, and she's going to walk through the results of the first survey and share what we've heard and what we learned from the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. I'm happy to share the results from our first community survey, walk through what we've heard so far, and you'll have a chance to see how your input helped to shape 2 design concepts that will be presented today. Our first online survey ran from July 29th through August 11th, and we received 424 total responses. The survey was promoted through our first pop-up event at the park in late July, as well as Denver Parks and Rec's social channels. Overall, the survey results highlight a desire for access to amenities like restrooms, opportunities for food and concessions, recreational equipment rentals, and flexible space for gatherings, events, classes, cultural activities. We'll also be publishing those survey results to the project website. Next slide. So again, this survey was distributed between July 29th and August 11th, and we received 424, excuse me, total responses. And in these slides, I'll also show the number of responses to each question. I think it makes it helpful to understand. And next slide. Oh, sorry. So one of the first questions we asked about was how often people visit the park. And we got 421 responses to this question. The feedback shows a mix of visitors, some who come daily or a couple of times a week, others who visit a few times a month, and some who only come a few times a year. Understanding these patterns helps us explore amenities and programming that fit the needs of both the regular park users and the less occasional visitors. We also explored some zip code data, and you can see that the majority of our respondents, or a large portion of our respondents, are right in and around the area of Sloan's Lake. Next slide. We asked community members how they want to use the Boathouse building. We allowed each person to select up to 2 options, and this is to help us prioritize the types of activities and services that the space should support. The responses showed a real strong interest in public events as well as concessions. Those were the top 2 items there. Next. We continued with that same question, but provided an option to share other ideas. And we received 42 unique responses here. These ideas included things like food and beverage, recreational equipment rental, and restrooms. The design team reviewed this input as well to see how they might fit this into the design and programming plans, which you'll see shortly here. Next, we asked about amenities. What features would best support the ways you would like to use the boathouse? This question helps us, again, make decisions about the interior layout and the surrounding areas. So the top themes here included outdoor patio space, portable stage infrastructure, Wi-Fi, and a catering kitchen that can support warming and cooling of food. We also had a couple of responses for that audio visual connectivity that would be inside the space. And then a small amount for dressing rooms, for example, for a wedding changing. For the question about concessions, we asked what type of offerings you'd most like to see in the space. Prepared food and drink was clearly a popular option. These responses again help us explore those possibilities for food and drink options that fit not just the space, but also the scope of this project, as well as the park's character and the needs that the community is expressing. We also asked an open-ended question here. Is there anything else Denver Parks and Recreation should consider for this space? And we received 138 responses here. The word cloud aggregates the most popular responses and then places it by size. So themes here included community gathering space and recreational rentals. We also heard that maintaining the historic character of the boathouse and ensuring the space stays accessible to the entire community, those are both very important points. This is the end of the community survey results. But what's exciting is that you'll see how all of these results were incorporated into 2 design options and how those were developed to really reflect your preferences through these initial surveys. With that, I will hand it off to Chelsea with Anderson Ellis.
Thanks, Celia. Yeah, so this evening, I'll be walking you through those 2 programming concepts for the Boathouse that we've been developing based on those results that Celia just walked us through. But both of these concepts really share a similar goal, and that is to create a flexible community hub that supports a variety of events, recreational activities, various gatherings, while also potentially offering that food and beverage opportunities that Celia mentioned. The differences between the 2 concepts really lies in really how the spaces can be organized and how the outdoor recreation component might be emphasized. So let's start with the first concept that you're seeing here. Big idea, the flexible community rental and event space with the beverage service and some potential for food trucks. So in the main building, this is where you would see that multi-use event space in that kind of darker reddish color, along with some offices for the park rangers and staff. That's the green color you're seeing. The public restrooms were highlighted as a need from the public. So those are in the purplish color, and the beverage concessions are to the south in that lighter red color. The outdoor patio space is could be rented along with that indoor event space, or it could remain open to the public when that space isn't reserved. It would also have kind of its own distinct identity that would be separated from that concessions patio for a clear delineation between the uses. So that concessions on the southern side, again in that light pink color, could focus on beverages and light snacks with more of a cafe style seating that would look out over the lake and the jetty and the potential future stage that might be in that area. And then, as I mentioned, there would be a food truck option, which you can see kind of on the northern side in a pink bubble that would provide some dedicated food truck parking with utilities that would provide some additional flexible food options. We have outlined the stage and jetty to the kind of right out in the lake a bit. And this stage and jetty are considered a potential future project, not part of this, but site work in our project would start to prepare for those improvements in the future by looking at softening the landscape and providing better visual connection between the building and that potential use in the future. And then finally, the trail that goes along the path here to the north of the building, you see that kind of in a whitish gray outline and some dash lines. This trail would remain in the same location that it is now. We would want to introduce some traffic calming improvements, especially around the boathouse, and that would be the dashed area specifically where we'd be looking to do that. And this would aim really just to slow down the traffic in this area and make it just a little bit safer for people that might be gathering here specifically. So with that, we'll move on to concept 2. Thank you. And similar to concept 1, 2 really envisions the boathouse again as that flexible community rental event programming space combined now with an outdoor recreation hub. And that you can see in kind of the bluish color on the bottom left of the building. And this option also does include that beverage service and the dedicated food truck area. So the main building again, would feature that multi-use space with restrooms that can host all kinds of events and programming for the community. It could serve as that recreation hub, offering access to outdoor equipment and programming right there on the lake. The ranger offices, again, in that green color, would maintain their presence here in the building, as well as the public restrooms in that purple color. And then the concessions counter, again, on the southern side in that lighter pink, would provide the beverage and light snack option. And the event patio immediately adjacent to the building is, again, that community patio would provide some overflow seating for the community and entertainment space from the inside. But again, this would be part of that rental experience alongside the indoor space. But when it's not reserved, it would be open. It could be open for public use, and also a clear separation between the space and the concessions just to the south. So those concessions we would repurpose the existing counter service that's there, and that's where the visitors could enjoy those beverages and light snacks at the kind of cafe style patio with those views of the lake and the mountains beyond. I mentioned the food truck pad, again, dedicated for that flexibility of alternate options that could come in for food support. And the future stage and jetty project, again, is shown here just to emphasize that future project and how we would work to connect the building to that potential use. And the trail is a similar approach, no changes in the actual orientation or location of the trail itself, but more of a traffic calming in that slow zone as shown in the dashed white lines. All right, next slide, Jesus. So in summary, again, both of these concepts really aimed to create a welcoming and flexible community hub for Sloan's Lake. And I think the key difference really is that one integrates that recreation hub and outdoor equipment rental and programming a little more than the other option, which really more narrowly focuses on community events and concessions. So we really look forward to hearing your feedback on which direction you feel best supports the community's vision here. And you can do that by engaging with our second online survey that Michael had mentioned earlier. The link is provided here. You can copy and paste that into your browser, or you can use your mobile device to use that QR code. We'd also encourage you to check out the project website for any updated information. This presentation and the webinar recording will be available on that project website page. So please use those links and that QR code to access those. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Michael for our Q&A.
Thank you, Chelsea. I did want to mention that the online survey will be open through October 6th. So there's a little bit of time to be able to do that, a couple weeks. So as Chelsea mentioned, you can do that on your phone or take a picture, or just go to the SurveyMonkey website and for the Sloan's Lake Boathouse 2 project. And with that, we can, looks like Stacy got the survey. That was a question. We can jump to question and answers section and see what we have. I know we have one question in the chat in the second. So food truck area, we can note and study that. The question was, food truck area should be near the restrooms. Perhaps we can clarify, I'm assuming you mean the public restrooms on the outside. Current spot blocks the view and too much noise near the patio area. Well, I think part of the vision of the food trucks is, well, there is space where it's at, where we're showing those locations, and we could maybe jump back up to either concept that is already set up with a driveway coming across there. In the trail slow zone, part of that design process as we move forward would be, how do we handle when events are occurring and then being able to get the trucks to the other side of the trail. And really, I think the intention was also for those food trucks to be able to serve the community space when there are events there. And also when there is not a rental going on, when the event patio is open for just general public use, that you could have food trucks right there and you would have the event space. I don't know, Chelsea, if you have more to add into that, or how we could look at that.
No, I think you covered it well. I think I would have said all those same things. But I think, yeah, as we get further into design, we'll work out those kinds of those details.
I think we've answered the other question, was when does the second survey close? And again, that is October 6th is when that will close. So again, a couple weeks. Let's see. I'm going through looking at questions, so let me see here. How about I'll just read them out, might be the easiest thing to do. In 2005, we approved a pavilion on the jetty where the stage is for jamming on the jetty. See Master Plan, Sloan's Lake 2005 with Keith French as author. This pavilion never developed as cost overruns with the seawall mistakes. Please give consideration to a permanent pavilion providing shade and shelter, as we clearly have demand, as an example for jamming on the jetties, which will be happening this Saturday. I think that, you know, as we are moving forward, we're going to be looking at potential future enhancements of that stage area. And I can let Chelsea weigh in on that, but we can look at various different ideas there. I don't know if there's more you have, Chelsea.
No, I don't have anything else to add. Thanks.
I'm just going to go down the line as I'm seeing them. So can you clarify in both concepts what will be built and what's future build out? You want to handle that, Chelsea?
Yeah, I can speak to that. The intention is anything that's in a color on these concepts would be part of this project, that would be built out. The future project really would be that enhancement of the stage area to the far kind of right there without really a color, just in a gray bubble. So anything that's in a color is intended to be part of this project, whether we go with a concept 1 or a concept 2.
I might add quickly too that the scope for either scenario will include obviously stabilization and rehabilitation of the building itself, just to ensure that that it will last another 60 to 80 years.
Good point. Thanks, Wells.
No, Chelsea, if you're able to see the Q&A, but the next question was, hi, Chelsea. 2 models that I like are BoatHouseSTL.com and SouthShoreTerrace.com.
All right. Thanks for that input. I am looking it up right now.
Yeah, I don't know what those are, but
Yeah.
but we can have those noted and we can go through those. Next question is, thanks for the presentation. Is this project limited to the existing building only, or is there an option to put patio seating slightly beyond the current bounds? For example, some patio tables on the grass to the left. Assuming to the left, you would be referring to the picnic areas that are over here. Right now, it is the area that we're showing is kind of the limits of the development that we're focusing on. I know with budgets probably tight to get all of this done, and that's one of the reasons we're looking at the future patio and such. So I don't know if you're talking between the building and the trail to the left in this aerial image down there. or if you're talking about this larger area out here. But right now, this project is funded to focus on the building and the immediate paved areas around it. So likely we will not have funding to be able to continue to move out and develop further areas of the park itself. We can definitely note that and track that and see if there's additional funds and other opportunities to be able to add additional picnic tables and pad sites out in those areas, possibly as a future option. Next question. One thing that is preferable about the STL example is that the rec rentals are adjacent to the lake. If we're going to include water use rec, that seems important.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. And I think that in concept too, I think that's why having that component on the lake side of the building makes the most sense. So you really have that connection if it does become water related equipment that you're renting or programming that comes out of that space. I think that's an ideal connection to the lake itself. And Michael, that might lead to the next question of how the outdoor rec hub might work in this concept. I'm not sure if the question is who's operating that programming. Maybe you'd be better to answer that, Michael.
Yeah, the outdoor rec hub is intended to be a flexible space that could address a lot of different community needs. There's the possibility that I could rent equipment through part of it that's stored there throughout the year or different seasons. It could also be used for other, adventure activities, training. Maybe there's classroom spaces, some other things. So right now, it's really viewed as a flexible space that we can, rent equipment and boats and other things to be able to get on the lake. We heard that, and that will be one of the options that we can look at as we move forward and dive deeper into what that space looks like. And then also educational elements may also be able to house the adaptive recreation that's currently using the space. And so just trying to offer some flexibility for that, outdoor activities. And being able to locate in this space and having if it is boats or other watercraft options, kind of being right down here where you can take the walk and get down to the boat dock down there. Next question, can you clarify if water recreation activities are considered safe at this time? I had heard on the Denver City Cast podcast that it was considered unhealthy and that would need to be dredged and treated first. So in Denver Parks, we are moving forward and at the beginning stages of a lake water health study. And I'm not the project manager on that project, but we did have representation at our first meeting, and we will have representation at the Jamming on the Jetties from one of our project managers that's going to be looking at the lake health. And they are going to be studying the water quality and what we can do to improve that through different types of designs and interventions with the stormwater that's coming into the lake. So that project is just starting up also. Will take a little bit of time. We have money for the study. We don't know what the study is going to suggest for the improvements right now, but that will be coming along. There are months that the water has a higher negative count that we discourage people from getting in the water or not allowed in the water. And there's other times of the year that you can go out on paddle boards and kayaks and other things. Jesus, I don't know if you know more, or Stacy West, who's our planning supervisor, may have some additional information that they can weigh in on that.
And Michael, I think most of what you said was accurate. The one thing I will say is the study has been completed with different interventions that could be done to help the water quality um, uh, in the lake. There are some dollars that are in the bond to start implementing some of those recommendations, but there are there are larger interventions that would need to happen um, to make it completely clean. We think that some of the things that we're able to do would make it safe enough for people to enjoy, but there may be further interventions so that we could increase the amount of water sports that would be able to happen at the lake.
Yeah, sorry, I stand corrected. Yeah, I believe they're starting to work on the beginning design stage of some of those
Yes.
interventions. What exactly the final designs of those are, we're not quite clear on, but we have some larger master plan visioning options out there. And so right now the design's funded to be able to try and work through that. And then we'd have to look at what those construction funds would be and when we can fund those projects.
You're muted, Michael.
Whoop, sorry. I'm not seeing any more questions at this moment. We can give it maybe another minute, Jesus, and see if anybody has anything else. If not, we could probably wrap up the meeting.
Yeah, and while we're waiting to see if there's any additional questions that come in, just a couple quick notes for you all. We are recording this meeting both in English and Spanish. In the meeting, along with the slides that have been presented, will be on the website. So there are 3 QR codes there on this slide that is up. If you look at the denvergov.org/park projects page, you will find Sloan's Lake. If you scan that QR code, it will take you directly to this page. We will have both this presentation, the recording, and the survey ready or on there. The survey is now live both in English and Spanish. So you are welcome to take it now. You're welcome to share it. We will send out a larger email letting people know that everything is now available online for them to start taking the survey and seeing any of this in case there are any additional questions or people would like to see what was covered at tonight's meeting.
Haven't seen any new questions come in. So we'd like to thank everybody for attending. Please do go on and do the survey so we can hear more from the community on which concept they prefer and any other thoughts. We will also be at Jammin' on the Jetties. We'll be at tent number 10 or 15, sorry, out there. And please come by and be happy to visit, answer any additional questions, talk further about things, and come support the programs out there in the park. And look forward to talking to folks on Saturday. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.